Military might, once a relic of a bygone century, is again a defining feature of international relations. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the United States. As the world's foremost military power, America's actions reverberate across the globe. But is its military strength a true reflection of its power, or is it a paper tiger, masking deeper vulnerabilities? This essay delves into the complex realities of America's military might in 2025. We examine the resurgence of hard power, the shifting dynamics within NATO, and the looming presence of China on the world stage. Furthermore, we explore the impact of the ongoing Ukraine conflict and the persistent threat of Iran's nuclear ambitions. Finally, we will analyze the domestic factors shaping America's military posture and its implications for global security. The United States is sending a clear message: hard power is back. The Pentagon, under the current administration, is emphasizing military readiness and weapons production. This renewed focus on hard power translates into a significant increase in defense spending. The U.S. military is actively expanding its defense industrial base, particularly in key areas like shipbuilding. This emphasis on hard power is not confined to American borders. The U.S. is actively urging its NATO allies to ramp up their defense spending to at least 2% of their GDP. Some members, like Estonia and Lithuania, have already met this target. This push for greater contributions underscores the U.S.'s desire to share the burden of global security. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a cornerstone of Western security for decades, is at a crossroads. The U.S., while reaffirming its commitment to the alliance, expects more from its European partners. This includes not just increased defense spending, but also a revitalized European defense industrial base. The U.S. is urging its allies to prioritize military readiness, ensuring they can effectively respond to emerging threats. However, tensions simmer beneath the surface. Some European nations are hesitant to match America's hawkish stance on certain issues, leading to disagreements on strategic priorities. The alliance, while still intact, is navigating a complex web of diverging interests and evolving security threats. Across the Pacific, China's military might is growing at an alarming rate. The People's Liberation Army now boasts the world's largest navy, a formidable arsenal of advanced stealth aircraft, hypersonic weapons, and an expanding nuclear capability. These developments have sparked debate regarding China's true military readiness and its implications for global security. Some analysts point to China's lack of combat experience and potential weaknesses in its training regimes as evidence that its bark may be worse than its bite. Others, however, argue that the sheer scale and speed of China's military modernization cannot be ignored. The specter of a more assertive China, willing to use its newfound military might to pursue its interests, looms large. Section 5. Echoes of Ukraine. Lessons learned, strategies redefined. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has served as a stark wake-up call for the West. The conflict has exposed vulnerabilities in Western defense industrial bases, highlighting the need for increased production capacity and streamlined procurement processes. It has also underlined the importance of providing Ukraine with continued military support, including advanced weaponry and intelligence sharing. However, the conflict has also underscored the limitations of military aid alone in resolving complex geopolitical crises. The influx of Western arms, while crucial for bolstering Ukraine's defense, has not fundamentally altered the balance of power. The situation in Ukraine serves as a sobering reminder of the human cost of conflict and the complexities of navigating 21st-century warfare. Section 6. The Iranian Conundrum, Nuclear Ambitions, and the Specter of Conflict. Iran's nuclear program remains a persistent source of tension in the Middle East. While diplomatic efforts to revive the nuclear deal continue, the possibility of military action against Iran's nuclear facilities remains on the table. Such a move, however, carries significant risks of escalation and could ignite a wider regional conflict. The U.S., while not ruling out military options, is primarily focused on deterring Iran from developing nuclear weapons. This involves a combination of diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, and military posturing in the region. The situation remains volatile, with the potential for miscalculation or unforeseen events to escalate tensions rapidly. Section 7. Internal Currents. Trump's America, and the Reshaping of Global Engagement. Domestic politics continue to shape America's military posture on the world stage. The return of Donald Trump to the White House has introduced a degree of unpredictability in U.S. foreign policy. While his administration has identified great power competition as a key focus, its actions suggest a more inward-looking approach, prioritizing domestic issues over global engagement. Trump's protectionist economic policies, including the imposition of tariffs on allies and rivals alike, have strained relationships with key partners and raised concerns about a potential trade war. These internal currents within America have created uncertainty among allies and emboldened adversaries, further complicating the global security landscape. Section 8. Europe's Awakening. A sleeping giant stirs on the defense front. Across the Atlantic, there is a growing recognition that Europe must shoulder more responsibility for its own defense. The continent possesses the economic and technological capacity to significantly enhance its military capabilities. However, political will remains a significant hurdle. Despite the challenges, there are signs of progress. Mechanisms like the Coordinated Annual Review on Defense, or CARD, and the European Defense Fund, or EDF, are fostering greater cooperation and coordination among European Union member states. The Ukraine conflict has further galvanized calls for a more assertive and self-reliant European defense posture. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating the uncertain terrain of 21st century power. The global security landscape in 2025 is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The U.S., while still the world's dominant military power, faces a more complex and contested geopolitical environment. The rise of China, the resurgence of Russia, and the persistent threat of terrorism demand a nuanced and multifaceted approach to security. The U.S. must balance its commitment to hard power with the need for diplomacy, strategic alliances, and a willingness to address the root causes of conflict. The path ahead is fraught with difficulty, requiring careful navigation and a clear